Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Prenton Preview.
On this side, McCallum! Yeah! 1-0 to Tranmere! Oh my word, Barlow! They've got a ball! Colin Jennings, James Norwood! James Norwood has scored it! Reese with the cross, the header, it's in! It's Colin Jennings!
Coming up on today's episode, we get the behind the scenes from last week's win against Exeter. Jay Spearing gives us the lowdown on his teammates. We go inside the campus to see how the boys are preparing for this Saturday's game, and we get the pre-match thoughts of Charlie Jolly and Mickey Mellon. We had an unbelievable win away last week at Exeter. Let's rewind and take a look back at that result through a different angle. We travelled over 1,000 miles last week, so a big thank you to everyone who's made the journey to support us. Next up, Jay Spearing was our guest on this week's Rovers Ramble. Let's have a look what he said about his teammates.
Move on to a bit more light-hearted stuff now. We've got a few questions about your teammates, if that's okay.
Oh, go ahead.
End the podcast. So we'll start off, there's about 10 of them. First one is, who's the grumpiest in the squad, in your opinion?
The grumpiest?
Yeah.
Clarky.
You reckon?
Yeah. Tell you what, mate, honestly, right, if someone annoys him in training, lad, you'll know about it. I'm not far off, but I do mine. I'm quite grumpy because I just want standards. Like, all my life's been about standards, and I hate people not giving absolutely everything in the training field. And if someone makes me lose a game in the training, I'll batter them, honestly. But Clarky's just exactly the same. So I'd say him because I've got a question, so I'm going to say him instead of me, but I'll be a close second.
Well, we've had Clarky and we've had a few on. There is sort of a grey line between who's grumpy and who's sort of setting standards. That's what Clarky said anyway. I think Clarky...
yeah. I think I'm the standards one, and he's the grumpy one.
Right. I think he said Powell. Has he got a nickname, Grumpy Lasso? Maybe someone said that. I don't know. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Josh. Not sure.
I think it might have been Joe.
Joe,
yeah.
Oh yes. Okay.
On the flip side of that, who's the funniest?
Kieran Morris. Mate, he's a special kid, you know, honestly. Swear to you, lad. He is a special kid.
We've had this on so many times.
I'm not surprised, lad. I don't think you can. He's just so bizarre, and he's just daft. How he lives on his own is beyond me. Honestly, mate, I just don't know how he does it. But as a footballer, lad, he's a great footballer. Great footballer.
Any examples you can share? Family friendly or?
Probably not family friendly though, so best keep them quiet. But he's just bizarre.
Next one, is there anyone always looking in the mirror? Bit vain.
Ooh. Do you know what? It's hard to say. Nicky Maynard likes to check himself out once he's dressed to make sure he looks all right. But there's another person that looks in the mirror, but he looks in the mirror because he just needs to check that his hair looks all right.
Who's that?
Joe Murphy.
Well, that's quite ironic because his answer to this question was Kieran Morris because he's always checking if he's got a new sprout of hair going.
See, he's passing the book there because he knows it's probably them two fighting for the mirror every day. That's why.
Next one, who's the most skillful?
It's got to be between Carl McManaman. Honestly, once you get to defend the one-on-one, mate, you've got no chance. I think he's probably the best. I think he's probably the best one-on-one attacking player that you'll probably see in this league. How he chops and turns people. I'd hate to defend one-on-one via him. But Fiends isn't far behind him.
We spoke to Josh Cogley and he said, because obviously he plays on that side of him, I said that how every time he does that chop or that sort of fainted shot, does the defender fall for it every time?
Mate, I'm not surprised. I think half the lads fall for it as well. We think he's going to pass it and he chops. So we're all expecting a pass, but he chops back and you think, right, okay, yeah. But Fiends isn't far behind him either.
Next one, I think we've had the same answer for this as well. Every time, who's the toughest?
Toughest tackler, probably me. But regards the toughest, as in what we saying? Toughest what?
Just who's hardest? Who wouldn't want to get a fight with?
Oh, there's a few lads that think they're hard. Like Clarky looks hard because he's missing a tooth. There's a few that think they're hard. But I tell you who's a brick when you run into him. Nev. Nev is a brick when you run into him. You know, God, he's a strong lad, him. So there's like a couple of options. Tackling me, thinking they're hard. There's a couple of them, but Clarky just looks hard because he's missing a tooth. And then Nev is just dead hard, isn't
he? Tom Davis, I think, was the best quote so far on the podcast when he did it, was that he wouldn't want to, if there was a fight to win the league, he reckons we'd win.
Yeah, we won't be far off.
Next one, who's the quickest in the squad?
Oh, see, this is a tough one because I'm trying to think of the stats who's higher. Do you know who's secretly quick? And I don't know if anyone might have not mentioned it. Charlie Jolly.
Yeah, I think someone has at one point.
Lad, his meters per second is like fast, but there's him, Cogs, and I think Fiend's quick as well. I think them three are like they're up there with the quickest distance. Like, you know, when we're doing like sprints and stuff, I think they're the fast one. I think they're three of the fastest ones. Like, no one thinks Charlie's got like that long stride, you know, when he gets going.
Yeah.
And honestly, mate, he can cover some distance if he needs to. Him.
Yeah, I think it's different because obviously you get players who are quick, sort of sprinting, and you get players who, when you've got the ball and moving with the ball, look quicker when he's just running. Like, I think Kieran Morris, when he gets the ball, looks like he's running quicker with it than he does without it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's different. So yeah, I'd probably say I'd have to throw them three as like the quickest because obviously, you know what I mean. I think over the year, the stats on the paper, I think it's them.
Yeah, obviously, say Charlie Jolly. Obviously, touch on him for a minute because he's come back from his loan, done exceptionally well. Seems to have physically grown and used his body a lot better. What are your thoughts on him recently?
Nothing other than I think he's been brilliant, mate. I honestly generally think he's been brilliant. It's tough for a kid to be here all last year, not get a sniff really, to then get sent out on loan this year, but to also keep his attitude, his commitments, and everything to 100% because he's been outstanding off the field, and he's now reaping his rewards. That's probably the best I could say it because he's a great kid. When he first came in, I think they knew it was a bit of a project as well because he was a skinny lad. But he's obviously they've been working with him in the background, and they've been like sending him on loan to like non-leagues, getting ready for the physical side as well. And do you know what? He's come back and he's a great kid. So yeah, fully deserves everything he's getting at the minute.
On the flip side of that last question, who's the slowest?
I won't be far off me, you know.
Right.
Yeah, my speed's in my head. Reading the game and all that, so I anticipate things and things. Yeah, I don't use my speed unless I know I'm chasing someone for a tackle. I can then like pick up speed a bit, but yeah, I'd probably say I'm not far off being the slowest. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people said Clark, and my answer to that was he does the first 10 yards in his head. So
yeah, well, I think that's probably To be fair, I've looked across a few times. I've seen Clarky there, so probably the two of us. He's probably but we use our experience to try and help us out a bit more.
I think his answer was quite brutal to that. I think he said Ben Jones, which...
Yeah, all right then. Yeah, Ben is 1,000% the slowest. But obviously the goalkeepers don't really run with us very often. So if you're looking at plays, then it'll be me or him.
Next one, who's the marathon runner who can run the furthest, longest?
Cogs.
Yeah. Cogs,
mate. Wow. When he came in pre-season, like we were doing all the testing, and it looked like after the testing, it didn't even look like he'd done anything. Everyone else thinking, wow, that was hard, that. And he just looks like he's not even done nothing. Everyone's bending over trying to find the breath and that, and he's just, not interested. So, 100% in.
Yeah, I think the gaffer described him as sort of like just an actual athlete. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's an engine, lad. Don't know where and he eats so much as well, by the way. There's my one for you. I've never seen a kid eat so much in all my life, but then not put any weight on. Lad, he eats about 8 times a day.
Next one, I don't know if you've been on a night out with the lad yet, but best and worst dancer.
Best dancer is going to be Fiends.
Fiends
has got a bit, that's through experience as well. That's through I've known obviously Fiends for years, but everywhere I've been, he's a good mover. The worst mover with no rhythm, and I've kind of like not seen a lot from him, but I'll say Paul Glatzel. Yeah, Paul's just like he's just stiff and young. You know what I mean? Just like stands there and just nods his head back and forward. Doesn't know what to do. He feels a bit uncomfortable in that. You know what I mean?
Joe Murphy said himself.
Nah, Murphy's got to be.
Yeah, is he? Right. I've seen the recent interview. Rob said he himself.
Yeah.
We've had the same answer for this one as well quite a few times, but who's the DJ?
Hodge is the DJ. No one gets a sniff, mate, honestly. He's very protective over the music. He may take like a little idea, but it always refers back to what Hodge is like and what he wants, and that's so. Maddie always tries to put Christmas songs on, but he goes mental. He comes in and just turns it off and just puts pure like bangers on.
Yeah, I've heard he's quite good at tapering the music to the mood of what, say it's a Monday, it's a bit more sort of chilled out, but if it's a Thursday or a Friday, he's getting me going.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's very, very true. If it's on like a recovery session or something, he'll have like nice and chilled music on. The lads are all stretching and all that, like, you know, recovering on the bikes and stuff, and nice and chilled. But if it's time to go to work and we're training, then it's like, wow, yeah, get the bangers on, get the lads ready. That's a big thing, you know, honestly.
Yeah.
Like music, you don't think it, but music can set the tone and set your mood, I think.
Yeah, well, it's the amount of times I've been waiting in a tunnel after a game for interviews and stuff, and one dressing room's got all these club classics on, and the other one's shouting. So
you see in football now, don't you? Like some teams have like throwing coaches and that. Do you reckon eventually we'll have like club DJs? Because, you know,
could do, mate. Hey, lads, could do, you know, just to set the mood and set people's tones and get what they get beaten in the head and all that. You never know.
The last one we've got for you is who's the future manager out the squad? Can you see being a manager?
Now, of course, I'm already in it and I'm already doing stuff. Obviously, I'm going to say myself because it's something that I actually love doing. So I'm already in the game of obviously I work with Liverpool Academy. So I do that with the under-16. So I'm already in it. So I'm going to say me at the time. But if I had to go and pick somebody else, it's actually probably a tough one because now everyone would probably say, look at Clarkey, but I'm not too sure whether Clarkey's into it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Like, obviously, people like probably look at him and think, oh, yeah, he'd be a great manager in, but it takes, I don't know, certain people have got to be in it to like think that they want it. I know Murph's doing coaching. I know Murph does like some goalkeeping stuff. So yeah, if I look around our dressing room now, it's still quite young, isn't it? Compared, well, obviously we've got a few oldies, but it's quite young still. But yeah, I'd have to say me on that one then.
Yeah, I think people look at us do have a shout emotion, thinks they're going to be a manager.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit of both, you know what I mean? Because obviously, I go for mine. I shout because I want standards and I demand more from everybody else, and that's just how I am. But then obviously the coaching side, I'm doing it, so it's kind of catch-22. But then everyone looks at Clarkey because obviously he's a shouter and a moaner. But I just don't know if it's something that Clarkey's actually interested in just yet.
I think he's planning on playing for another 10 years, so we don't have to worry about it.
He probably could, lad. He's honestly, for 39, touching 40, like, you want to see the shape he's in.
Yeah. So he's in the
incredible, lad, honestly.
That is all of our questions we've got for you. Just about touching 50 odd minutes there. So thank you very much for your time.
No worries, lad.
Rest of your day off. And best luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate. Good to see you. I'll see you in a week.
Thank you.
Good. Nice to meet you, lads. See you in a bit.
That was Jay Spearing on this week's episode of the Rovers Ramble podcast. If you want to watch that full episode, it is available for members now on our YouTube channel, so make sure you join if you haven't already. Next up on today's show, we go inside the campus to see how the boys are preparing for Saturday's game here at Prenton Park against Leyton Orient.
Jay. Yeah. Nice, Jay. Lewis. Oh, nice. Pass. Love it. Ben. Yeah.
Feet, unlucky. Come on down, get that on, Rob. Get that 1, 2, hey! Good job. Morning. Hello, good morning. Morning. They're different. Strike. Yes.
boys, to the front, to the side, just get the basics in, and we can get our stuff done over there. Head, pull back on the foot. Jog back. Jog back, nice boys. Stretch up and down, then we'll get into down tuck under one each side. Go in by that knee, shoot the chest out wide, come on boys. Go on, Keith, sharp, punch that ball out, sharp, Keith, go! Yes, tall, nice, yeah, good! Brilliant ball!
Stand up, swing it, buddy.
Well done.
Well done. Steady, well done.
Good recovery.
And he defended that area there.
Yeah, brilliant. Good, love it, Beans. Middle wide. Yes, well done. Come on, boys, up in your legs, up in your legs, up in your legs, up in your legs, up in your legs. Up in your legs. Come in, finish. Oh, great finish. Good, be ready for me. Oh, nice. Go near. What a great cross. Well done. Good. What a finish, Nicky.
Charlie Jolly's been in great form since returning from his loan at Chester. It was his turn to talk to the press this week, so let's see what he had to say, as well as Mickey Mellon.
Focus on the pitch, shall we? How much are you enjoying being back at Tranmere for that loan spell at Chester?
Yeah, no, I'm buzzing. It's what my aim was. It's obviously to go out on loan, play some games, get experience at first team level, albeit a different type of standard. And you can't dismiss that. And I've got to take what I've learned there back to Tranmere, and that's what I'm trying to do game by game, and trying to grow and impact as much as I can.
And just how beneficial do you feel that spell at Chester was?
Yeah, so lots have asked me this, to be fair. Obviously, there's pretty standard answers in terms of like me physicality, obviously match sharpness, match readiness, fitness. But I think just seeing the game in a different kind of light. Obviously, I've been watching Tranmere since I've been here, in the stand, whatever. But then going out to play and seeing the game from kind of like a on the pitch kind of level, it's completely different, and you see things that you don't necessarily see up in the stand. So no, I'm just trying to develop my game off what I'm seeing and learning off the senior lads.
Side of the Leyton Orient Cup game, it's 10 points in your last 12 following the Sutton defeat. Have you sensed a kind of rise in confidence during that run as well?
They're usually quite a confident group anyway. I think the way that we work things here, we'll be able to tell you why we won and why we think we lost. And that might be down to an individual performance at a moment, or it might be a period in a game. So we would always come over like that to try and help the players in things like confidence, to make sure that we do understand what went wrong in that moment and how could we improve our attitude after the score or anything like that. So that's how we would do things in order to try and help to keep confidence continuous and not make it a big massive thing. So no, we wouldn't really allow them to feel sorry for themselves or feel too high. So we just got on it and just try and hit the same levels in the training session with the same expectations of the players from the coaching staff and from each other, is what we would do, win, lose or draw, to try and keep momentum moving forward.
And we mentioned it before you played Leyton Orient in the Cup about this game coming up and the quick turnaround. What did you see from them in that game where you've learned from for this one? Because since that, or either side of this game as well, they've been in a mixed run of form. And for yourselves, you've had so many tight games this season, it felt like a bit of an anomaly.
We were poor that day. We were first to say that we were poor, and we got punished. I believe a dodgy penalty and a counter-attack at the end sort of put a lot of gloss on the performance for Leyton Orient. But they did deserve to win on the day. But we weren't anywhere near in any area of the pitch competitive enough or won any of our duels in the game that was going to give us a chance of getting the result.
But we quickly got back to work again on the Monday and made sure that we made the players aware of that, and that's all we did. Like I said there, but when you asked me about confidence, that's all we did. We just get back on track again and back to the basics. So now all we do is we demand the same for Saturday, and we wanted to do better against Leyton Orient than we did the last time, and that will mean being more competitive and winning more of our 1v1 battles and causing them more problems. And we went into that game expecting to do that.
And just lastly from me, Mickey, injury or squad availability update?
Well, Callum's obviously going to be suspended because he's not had his red card overturned. Knight Percival's still not going to be returned, and Paul Galazzo's still not training, so they'll definitely be missing. But apart from that, everybody else is available for selection.
Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for on this week's episode of the Prenton Preview, but we look forward to seeing you all here on Saturday, and let's hope for another 3 points.
One this time. McCallum! Yes! 1-0 to Tranmere! Oh my word! Barlow! They've got a ball!
Connor Jennings, James Norwood has scored it! Priest with the cross.